Hello everyone, and welcome back. Just running out some loads of wood into the woodshed here. We got a nice stretch of days coming up. Today it's supposed to be like 55 and still dropping down into the 30s, but it's been kind of off and on rain the last few days, and today now it's sunny, and it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad till the end of the week. So I kind of like to do this in stretches, do some, do a little bit more later, and perfect morning for this. Once I get this row filled up and I start the next row, once this one's done, this is a halfway point, so should be halfway full. You can stack a lot more wood though when it's split versus rounds. You end up with all these spaces in here. I dumped the ashes. If you guys watched the one where I cleaned out the wood boiler, I had put all the ashes into the bucket on the tractor and I just went and dumped it on top. We have a big compost pile, like when I pulled all the bales out of the garden the first time, and then I pulled some out this last time. I've just been dumping it there, and it's funny because we had a huge squash plant that grew there with tons of squash, but it was yellow squash, but we have plenty of it, so I just left it there. It'll die and it'll compost, and next year even more of them will come up. Almost halfway. It actually is probably halfway right now, because right in front of the door here, I'm not going to be able to stack it the way I'm stacking it right here. You'll never be able to get in here. But right now I have to do a little bit of running, and then I'll be back, and hopefully we can get some more loads in here. I see that guy right there started up his wood boiler. He didn't have it going last week. Must have fired it up this weekend for the first time. I've seen a couple other ones that have done that too on my drives around. What we're doing today is, last week I did those two pork roasts in the smoker, and we've ate almost all of them. And I just went through there and got 2 pounds of meat off, and like pulled it apart with the fork and then chopped it into smaller, and I got it in the pan, and we're gonna make, well, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a pulled pork taco, I guess, but smoked whatever tacos. See how it turns out. Was she?
She was sniffing hard.
Way and do the loop.
I want to get that bucket.
I could get that right now. There's one more way down there too.
Y'all are going the wrong way.
Well, Melissa came out, so we ran the dogs and looked for mushrooms out there, and it's really pretty in there now. The leaves are starting to fall off the trees. And now on the outside here, I'm going to stack wood also. But one thing I've learned this year, I cut wood different lengths. So, like if they're smaller like this, no reason to cut them short because they're easy enough to throw into the boiler. And then as they got bigger, I cut them shorter. Well, that makes it really hard to stack in the woodshed here. The first 2 rows are longer like this, and then I switched to the shorter ones. And as I cut, like when I first started cutting, I had high hopes. I was cutting them big, and then I have to split some of those. Well, the other day, I wasn't filming then, and I went to put it into the splitter, and it's like this much longer than the splitter can handle. So now I'm going to have to cut those down. I can cut them in half, but instead of being like a 18-inch piece, it would be like a 15-inch piece. So I think what I'm going to do is cut them into something like this long, so they would stack here, or I could do a whole row in the woodshed again of the same stuff. And then I'll just have a smaller block that will be off of it. And those smaller blocks I'm going to drag over here and we'll dump in front of the wood boiler just before it's time to start it up. And I can use that when I first start it up because it's got so many edges and it takes a couple of days to really get a good bed of coals going in there. Hey, beauty. And so I think I'm going to do that versus cutting them up into 2 smaller pieces. So these are longer ones. I'm putting them in here because I don't know if I have enough of them to fill a whole row. And to be honest, I was just getting bored filling it in the woodshed. The whole time I've been telling Melissa, I need to get the woodshed full because that's the boring part. I like it when my woodshed has wood stacked outside of it and that looks neat, you know? So it's like, let's do some of the fun stuff because I'm not going to I don't know if this is the last load today or if I'll do one more. I'm not sure, but I've hauled a lot of wood today. I thought about putting pallets down in here and setting the wood on it, but it's all going to get burnt this season. So it's not like it's going to be here next year. So why bother doing that? It'll all come up eventually and get burned. And then plus if I put a pallet's going to stick out to about here. I might want to do 2 rows here of this wood. I mean, once I got to get some more wood in here, and then I'm going to stack it up all around here. So I don't want to be over here shoveling and then bang the side of a pallet and stuff, because when you get a 12-inch snowfall, you can't see where anything is, and sure enough, I'm going to come through here with the tractor, grab the edge of it, it's going to crank everything around and just be a big old mess. This bigger stuff too will be getting burned first, which is good because when the season first starts, you're gung-ho, throw those big ones in. Get it all, burning good, and by the time you get through the middle of the winter, you're so sick of carrying the big heavy ones, you'd rather grab some smaller stuff and make it a little bit easier. Nice day today, a lot of people out on there. 4-wheelers and their UTVs, you can hear them now. Neighbor was over here, talked to him for a while. Usually I only talk to him maybe once a year. And that's the second time he stopped by, and I stopped by over there one time, so that's downright friendly for me. 3 times in a year. Well, I was debating if I was going to do one more load tonight because the sun is going down. And I just went in to get a drink of water, and Melissa's making a big batch of vegetable beef stew, or I think that's what it is. So we can eat that and then enough to fill 5 trays in the freeze dryer with the rest of it. And we've got 8 gallons of tomatoes in there. They're in buckets. And she asked me if I would put those in bags for her and get them in the freezer, and I said, yeah, I'll do that. So I guess we'll probably come back at this tomorrow. I think I can get on this tomorrow. Or the next day, who knows. When I wake up in the morning, I figure out what I'm going to do that day. If I'm not working, and tomorrow I don't think I'm working, so I'll be doing something. She was just out here and I cut out a head of cabbage for her for this stuff that she's making. We're getting down there. I don't know what we're going to do with this stuff. She doesn't much care for it, but I would think we could probably fit 2 small heads, maybe 3 in the freeze dryer. Oh, I didn't realize we have 5. I thought we only had 4. I haven't harvested any of these yet. I'll have to come out and get some of these. I got everything cleaned up here, and now what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 5 heated coolers for cats. She's got the heated water sitting there ready to be plugged in. Getting ready for winter. Oh, she did a Walmart?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to just go back? If you just want to go back, how much do you have?
Well, it's just one, but I guess it's pretty heavy, they said. I think it's
I'll grab
jars.
it from here, no problem.
Nebraska floor is nice.
Yeah, well, in my house when you were sick, the best reflection was a
Good morning, everybody. It's a toasty 26 degrees. Well, this is my 3rd load this morning, and I've been taking some of these and running them over to the splitter and splitting them in half because they're getting to that size where they're not real heavy, but they're not real light. And Melissa wants me to fire this up like right now because other people are going. But most people, or last year, I didn't start it until October 30th. And the thing is, like this weekend, I go up to do deer stand, so I'll be gone 1 or 2 nights. And then I think I'm home a weekend, and then it's deer hunting where I'll be, probably be gone 4 nights. Anyway, that first, 4 or 5 days is kind of critical. You're trying to get a good bed of coals. You're playing around with your differential to see where you're supposed to be at. We have some days this week that are going to be 55. Like this morning it got down to, 26 or whatever it was. And now tonight it's going to get down to 34, and then it's going to get down to like 40. So then you're really, it's taken a long time before the furnace has to kick on, which means that burn time isn't as much. So you're trying to get a bed of coals in the time of year when it's harder to get that. So I'd rather be home for that and tinker with it. So I think I'll wait till after I go up to do deer stands. Then probably fire this up. I'll have time to get a good bed of coals going, and then when I go for deer hunting, it'll be a little bit colder out also. But just like last year, she won't have any trouble running it. But I'm splitting some of these because they're like right on the verge of being heavy, but not bad. But if she's running them in there, I guess she'd never get to that row. But they'll be lighter. Another thing, when you're doing this, if she's pretty empty when you're putting wood in there, the first couple that you put in there can be big round ones. You can get them in there, but once that wood pile starts stacking up higher than the door, then you got to throw them up and over, and that's when you can really feel when those logs are heavy, and then try to get them in there and it hits against another log and bounces back at you. Yeah, so you kind of live and learn. Big ones in first, smaller ones on top. I did talk to the guy last night that I've been having trouble with, can't get a hold of him. And that's going to bring me out the 12 cord already cut up into, I don't know, hopefully they're not going to be too long, but I can split them down. But anyway, they'll go into the boiler, but I found this year that, like, instead of cutting the log into 4 pieces, you know, you get a 100-inch log, cut them into 5. That's way easier to deal with. But anyway, my biggest worry was that he wasn't going to come through for me, and I'm going to be sitting here and the snow is going to be coming down, and I have to order 12 cord of wood and then start cutting on that, which the whole thing this summer or this fall has been trying to stay ahead of that and not have to do that. And he did say that he started cutting up on that 12 cord and he's just been busy. And I told him, I said, you know, there's no hurry at all to get it here. I just told him my biggest fear is that you're not going to get here. And just like I just told you. So sounds like he's getting that cut up. So probably he has to bring that up in multiple loads. I probably wouldn't want him to put probably 6 cord over here by the boiler, and then we'll dump the other 6 over to where I'm getting this from. Well, after lunch I did 3 loads for sure of wood, and now I'm splitting a bunch of it. The one was a bunch of the longer stuff, and I split that too and brought that in. But earlier I tried to get the chainsaw started yesterday. I tried it again today thinking maybe I flooded it yesterday. I can't get it to fire. So last time I used it was up duck hunting. Worked fine, and I even took this apart and put just 1 shot of starting fluid in there just to see if it would fire, and it wouldn't. So I'm guessing that something's wrong with the plug, because normally this thing works really good. And I was going to do another load of wood, and it's like, I'm getting sore from hauling wood for the last 2 days. And last Thursday, Melissa and I went in, and I had my doctor appointment on the MRI that they did on my neck. And there is some degeneration in there, and there is a couple places where it's bulging in toward the spinal cord, but just a tiny bit. It wasn't a big deal. But that's where all the pain is coming from. So of the options that I had, the first one that they're going to do, and it starts tomorrow, is they're going to do 8 weeks of physical therapy to see if that helps. And then if that didn't help, then they would give me shots or whatever. I mean, I can take ibuprofen and it knocks it out, but I hate to take anything like that. I'll take a couple before bed every night just so I can sleep. You know, otherwise I'm rolling around and waking up. So, but anyway, I'm going to go in there tomorrow and they're going to look at me like, what's wrong with you? Somebody's going to have to help me get out of bed. I'll be sore. But I would sure like to get some of those bigger ones on this side of the pile. They need to be, some of it cut off you know, so I can get them split because that's easy to get to with the tractor. Now I'm trying to do longer ones for this one row in the, like the last long row in the woodshed. I'm doing the longer ones, and once that's in where you walk in the door on the left and right side, I'll do them the short way because I can go up real tall that way. I think. I can't just bring it all the way out to the door being straight up, but it'd be nice to get in on those. I just have to find a socket to fit that, so let me do that. Holy man, what the heck? Certainly put that in tight. I don't know, looks fine to me. Nothing to really put that against. I went up earlier because the tractor ran out of gas. And got about 30 gallons of gas. It was $2.99 a gallon. It's been a while since I've seen it under $3. I don't think it's been under $3 for a couple of years. I also got 5 gallons of diesel because I got a diesel heater sent to me, and I really want to try to get that piped in to the fish house. I think that would be a really nice secondary heater in there. Anyway, we're going to be playing around with that and doing a video on that in the next week or so. So I picked up some diesel. Might as well run up right now and get a plug for the chainsaw. People keep asking me about my hernia surgery, and I'm going to wait and do that after the first of the year, just for insurance reasons, because then we'll reach the max of our deductible, and if anything else happens throughout the rest of the year, it'll be covered instead of doing it now before the end of the year and then everything resets on the first. I'll just wait. Well, they did have a spark plug, and it was busy in there. It was like 8 people deep just going through the checkout, and there was 4 or 5 checkouts open. Well, I put that spark plug in the chainsaw and it didn't work. So I took out my MS360 or my 36, oh I think it's a 360 Pro. Anyway, my old one. And I was having trouble with that one last winter when it was cold, not idling right. So I turned up the low idle on it and put the new blade on it. And then I come out and cut with that, and that it's a heavier saw, but it cuts faster too. So then it was like, well, I got some cut, I might as well split some. It's just about dark now, but I can at least get it over by the woodshed. Maybe I'll get it unloaded tonight, I'm not sure. See what time it is. Oh, I think I'll load that tomorrow. It's almost 7:30 right now. Not too much farther to go. Just coming in from my first physical therapy. I feel pretty good this morning too. I bet you I'm gonna feel like sore when I get out. Well, I'm back from physical therapy. I have a couple pages of exercises I have to do, and then they put me on a 10-week schedule. Be good as new. Right now I'm going to load some more wood. I think I'll run in and have lunch. It's 1 minute to 12. I'm not even hungry. I want to get this done. Oh, after lunch I unloaded that load, went over, split another load, and now I'm just about done with these longer ones. And the rest of this pile will have to go on the side of the building. And I started splitting some of the shorter ones that can go in here. I think I can get 2 rows in here, maybe even 3. I don't know. I guess this will fill up pretty fast. It'll be interesting to see because that pile's getting down there now. But every time I split one, you know, you end up with 4 pieces instead of just the 2 on some of them. one big tractor bucket does one row that size. I'm gonna go get another one. I'm running out of wood that's that size, I think, though. Oh well. I'll stack it in here. I've got longer ones I can stack in here. Luckily, I'll be burning those first because it'll drive me crazy if it's not uniform. And it won't be. This looks so nice. Two more loads and this will be filled up here, and then I might do another row in between here. We'll see what I got. I mean, I have a lot of wood out there, but a lot of it's stuff that's going to be going in this pile right here. I have this load here of odd sized pieces. That can go right in that front. There's a few that are regular, like wood stove size, like these here. Gonna split those up and put them in that pile because I'd like to get some wood in that little shed area in front of the workshop for the wood stove in there. A couple over here also. These here are too long to make it into the wood splitter, so I'll have to cut a chunk off like I did these, split them, and then they can go in the pile next to the woodshed. And all this here is going to be what I burn first when I fire up the wood boiler. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I guess this whole entire thing was just stacking wood. Right now I got enough wood there, yeah, so that if I just burn that, we would already be into February and starting to warm up before I would run out. I will see you guys on the next video.